All right, Bills Mafia, you know I'm excited about this one. Just added a new member to the family, to the Mafia. Talking about none other than two-time Super Bowl champion Marquez Valdes-Scantling. So go ahead, hit that like button one time for the culture, and of course, don't forget to subscribe. Now, with MVS, let's talk about him. This will be his 7th year in the NFL. Was drafted by the Green Bay Packers, 5th round. Spent his first 4 seasons there with Aaron Rodgers before these final 2 seasons being with the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, obviously, and winning back-to-back Super Bowl championships. But with MVS, man, big speed, right? He's 6'4", but he's a 4'3" type dude in terms of he can stretch the grass. You look at him statistically, his average receptions in terms of yards per catch, roughly around 15, 16 yards per catch. So that is down the grass style plays. You watch him, that's exactly how he looks on tape, man. He is a vertical threat. He can catch underneath stuff, but that's not really his game. But when he does get that football in his hands, it's a track meet, and that's what you love to see. Like I said, doesn't give you a ton of the stop and go or even the elusiveness that you would expect with some fast guys. But when you're talking about his strengths, oh man, once he gets off that line, it's a foot race, and he wins a lot of those times. Now, in terms of what he does well, right? The big speed that consistently shows up. You look at some of the production that he's had, whether it was in Green Bay early in his career or even these past 2 seasons in Kansas City, you've seen him really hover around that 500 to 600 receiving yards. That's, kind of where he's been. But the thing that I like is these past 2 seasons, you look at his postseason production, it's there. And even this past season, we unfortunately saw it firsthand with him having 2 catches for about 60 yards versus us, and him scoring a touchdown in the Super Bowl this past season versus the Niners. So with MVS, you bringing in that championship pedigree, you're bringing in a dude that has a defining characteristic, which is speed, right? But you also have nice size on him, and he's not what what we consider a track guy. He's not just a guy that can run fast but doesn't really understand how to play football or catch the football. He does do those things well. Now, what is the knock on him? Well, the knock is he's not, the most refined route runner. He doesn't have a ton of detail in his routes, and that is a part of why he struggles at times to create separation when it's not just a vertical route or when he's trying to beat the press off the line. Those are some of the areas where you will see him struggle. The next thing that, kind of is a knock on him is his consistency with his hands catching the football. You look at him these past 2 seasons with Patrick Mahomes, and even though he was productive, even though he made some timely catches for Mahomes, there are still some times out there where you're just left desiring more consistency. Now, in terms of the statistics with the eyeball test, the numbers were about 50%. So when Mahomes targeted him 80 times, he had 40 catches. When Mahomes targeted him 40 times, he had 20 catches. That's kind of been his thing, though, throughout his NFL career. So we will see, obviously, how that continues to go. I do anticipate him being a little bit higher in terms of targets just based on the group that we currently have. Obviously, we are excited about Keon Coleman, but he is a rookie, and we're going to have to see what that looks like in terms of his development and how quickly he gets up to speed. We obviously know Khalil Shakir. We feel good about him. Mac Hollins, the new addition. We'll see what he can bring along with Curtis Samuels. But to me, this is definitely one of those moves, man, where you're just trying to figure out, all right, how can I essentially band-aid the loss of Diggs and Gabe Davis without compromising my roster this year or even for the future in terms of some of the assets that we would potentially have to jeopardize for some of these other players. So like I said, I like the MVS move. The financial part of it, I was also digging. 1 year, $4.5 million. Nothing crazy, but at the same time, I think it's good compensation for MVS. He is a player that's a 2-time Super Bowl champ, back-to-back Super Bowl champ. So I do like that, man. But hopefully, he could be the deciding factor in the next time we match up with them boys over there in Kansas City, all right? Because, I don't like the fact that he's been on the winning side of that them postseason times. That's got to change. All right. But either way, you guys let me know your thoughts on the MVS signing, Marquez Valdes-Scantling. If you like the move, if you think that this is a good move, if you also like the money associated with it as well. Like I said, 1 year, $4.5 million. And most importantly, what are you expecting to see from him as well? But either way, I appreciate you for tuning in. And until next time, baby, just remember, don't nobody circle the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.